सहनाववतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। अनन्तरूपा अनन्तनामा आदिमूला नारायण अनन्तरूपा अनन्तनामा आदिमूला नारायण अनन्तशयना हे जगन्नाथा कमलनयना हे माधवा अनन्तशयना हे जगन्नाथ कमलनयना हे माधवा करुणासागर कालिङ्गनर्तन करुणासागर कालिङ्गनर्तन हे दया सिन्धु कृष्णा हे दया सिन्धु अनन्तरूपा अनन्तनामा आदिमूला नारायण विश्वरूपा विश्वाधारा विश्वेश्वर हे नारायण विश्वरूपा विश्वाधारा विश्वेश्वर हे नारायण भवभयहरणा दीनोद्धरणा भवभयहरणा दीनोद्धरणा हे कृपा सिंधु कृष्णा हे कृपा सिंधु अनंत रूपा अनंत नामा आदिमूला नारायण आदिमूला नारायण ॐ नमो नारायणाय 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 ॐ यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। Our next topic is all about decision making. What are the aspects we have to take into consideration while making any decision in life? So the first aspect is decision making based on what is right and what is wrong. Many times we take decision based on likes and dislikes. So all of us, we have these two faculties in us. The faculty called intellect and the faculty called mind. Intellect is that faculty which decides based on what is right and what is wrong. Mind is that faculty which decides based on what I like and what I dislike. So the intellect says, this is right, let us do it. This is wrong, let us not do it. What will the mind say? This I like, let us do it. This I don't like, let us not do it. So whom should we listen? Intellect or mind? Intellect. So in the language of Kathopanishad, the intellect shows the path of Shreyas, mind shows the path of Preyas. Intellect shows the path of good and the mind shows the path of pleasant. So always take decision based on the wise guidance of the intellect, not the temptations offered by the mind. Choice is ours, whether to follow the path of Shreyas or Preyas. And you will always find whomever you listen to, that particular faculty starts becoming stronger and stronger in you. If you are constantly listening to your intellect, intellect becomes stronger, mind becomes weaker. If you constantly listen to your mind, what will happen? Mind becomes stronger, intellect becomes weaker. So this is a tapas, it's an austerity. Always following the wise guidance of the intellect. So what happens when we constantly listen to our mind? Mind becomes stronger, and a time comes when the mind becomes a monstrous master. When mind becomes our master, it becomes a monster. Okay. It will force us to do everything wrong. Atmaiva hyatmano bandhuhu atmaiva ripuratmanaha. My own mind, when it is disciplined, it is the best servant. When the mind is disciplined and obedient, it is the best servant. It is the best friend. Bandhu means friend. But when that mind becomes a master, then it becomes our worst enemy. So what happens when you constantly do what you like? The intellect is like a light. It guides us which path to take, which not to take, what is right, what is wrong. That light of the intellect starts becoming dimmer and dimmer. It is no more able to show us the right path when we constantly listen to our mind. And a time comes when this intellect starts finding arguments to support the vicious desires of the mind. you start arguing in favor of the mind. That's the most dangerous thing. Intellect is paralyzed. It has no more the freedom to think. And then it starts justifying the wrong desires of the mind. It's a very dangerous state. Right. So whenever this desires, whenever the decision-making situation comes, always we should ask this: am I deciding this? Is it because I like it? Or am I deciding this because it is right? So we have 4 combinations. Something is right and I love doing it. Any problem? No problem. Something is wrong and I dislike doing it. Any problem? Something is right and I don't like doing it. Any problem? Full of problem. That is the time when there is struggle. There is an internal struggle. There is a Kurukshetra war between the Pandavas and the Kauravas. The heart becomes a battleground. So every heart is a Dharma Kshetra. Right. When something is right and I don't like doing it, when something is wrong and I love doing it, again the struggle comes. It's a fight, it's a struggle. So what should be our effort? Always to support the intellect and win over this temptation. There is a struggle, no doubt. There is a pain, no doubt. But with every pain comes the gain. You slowly start winning over your lower nature. This is the greatest tapas. It's an austerity. It's a struggle. Just like gold has to go through the hottest furnace to come out pure. In the same way, we have to go through this struggle in order to purify the mind. Remember, this pure mind alone is attracted towards God, attracted towards spirituality, attracted towards liberation. Not every mind is attracted. So in this struggle, the mind becomes pure. And such a pure mind guides you through the path towards liberation. Not every mind will guide us right. Okay, so this struggle is unavoidable. Everyone has to go through this struggle. So when we listen to this mind, taking decision based on likes and dislikes, the intellect becomes weaker and weaker, dimmer and dimmer, unable to guide us. Then we are completely ruled by our likes and dislikes. What happens to such a person? Such a person ruins his life. Chain smokers, drunkards, drug addicts, all these criminal elements in the society. They are all the examples of this. On the other hand, when we constantly listen to our intellect, not paying attention to the mind, what happens? Intellect becomes stronger and stronger. And that strong intellect becomes brighter and brighter. And such a bright intellect is very clearly able to show us the path between what is right, what is wrong, what is dharma, what is adharma. Even the subtle matters also, you are able to clearly see what is right and what is wrong. It's like a powerful torchlight guiding us through the path of goodness and righteousness. And slowly a time comes when you constantly listen to your intellect, a time comes when the intellect and mind becomes one. What does it mean? Intellect and mind becoming one means whatever is right, I love doing it. There is no more struggle. Spontaneously, effortlessly, naturally, I love walking the path of dharma. And whatever is adharma, I hate it. The mind fully, readily follows the path shown by the intellect. Such a personality is called integrated personality. So this integration between the mind and the intellect, this is called as personality integration. To the extent a person is integrated within, to that extent, you will find that the person just, whatever he decides, he is successful in that. Whatever goal he chooses, he is successful. Because our greatest obstacle is our own mind. That mind is no more an obstacle. It becomes our best friend. For that person, nothing is impossible to attain. Right? So, while making decisions, how should we make decision? Always follow the path shown by the intellect. Now, sometimes people say, Swamiji, what about this heart? It is said that always follow your heart. That's the usage. So in this context, we have to say, heart means mind plus intellect. In such a context, this is what we have to understand. That which is right and that which you love doing. Yes, follow your heart. There it doesn't mean follow your mind. Follow your heart doesn't mean follow your mind. Intellect should also be there. Then you can follow. There is no problem. So, in decision making, the first thing, always listen to your intellect and not mind. So, in the morning class, we were discussing about this, how this likes and dislikes paralyzes the intellect. When we are extremely attached to something, we are forced to take decision in favor of that thing. So there's a beautiful quote by Puja Gurudev. Where love is thick, fault becomes thin. And where love is thin, fault becomes thick. So you'll always find this. If I'm attached to someone, I will see only the good things of that person. My mind refuses to see the defects in that person. And if I hate a person, I see only the negativity in that person. My mind refuses to see the goodness in that person. Where love becomes thick, fault becomes thin. So then what happens? This decision making gets hampered there. So we have to be very careful about this aspect. We tend to be partial towards our near and dear ones. In Chinmaya Mission, we generally see this, especially during Bala Vihar, Gita chanting competition. Here I don't know. I will tell you the story, what happens there. So here the child is chanting and the mother is singing, full of love and affection. And she sees that her child has not got the prize. She comes to fight with the judges. My child chanted so well. How dare you don't give prize to my child? Right. So one lady came running. So there we had already told the judges, see, when you are giving marks, you should also write what are the mistakes committed by this child. Alpa prana is not there, Mahaprana is not there. There is a forgetfulness. All these have to be written so that when somebody comes with a complaint, you have the list. See, this places, your child has chanted wrong. What I am trying to say is this. We tend to take we tend to be partial towards our near and dear ones. A lot of problems have been created because of this. Intellect literally becomes paralyzed in front of our own near and dear ones. This is the Dosha of Raga. Right? You just observe when the drama is going on, children are performing, and this child is there in a corner. He is a guard. King, queen, minister, they are doing so many things in the central stage. This child is a guard in a corner doing nothing, chasing away flies, maybe with one spear in hand. This mother of this child, who will capture the center place of this mobile, she is recording the video. She is not even aware of what is happening in the center stage. In the center stage of her mobile will be this guard looking here. Isn't it? This mother is not interested in what is happening there. My child. Right? So, this is what happens. Very many times the most insignificant things becomes very important for us because somebody of mine is there. Very important thing is happening somewhere, I don't care about it. Right? I miss the bigger picture and get trapped in the some insignificant happening. Right? And such a person, when he takes a decision, will it be a perfect decision? It will be a faulty decisions. So we have to be very careful about the workings of the mind. So this is number one. Decision making based on right and wrong, not based on likes and dislikes. Point number 2. Decision making based on the roles we play in the society. We all have various kinds of roles. In the family, we are a family person. In the professional front, we are a professional. So there are various roles we play in the society, depending upon where we are. So in such situation, how the decision should be taken? Decision should always be taken in favor of the higher role. An example will make it clear. So here is this mother who is a teacher in the school. She is correcting, say, here I don't know, it's a 10th grade paper. And as she is correcting, she gets the paper of her son. By the handwriting, she could make out that it is my son's paper. Now, there, should she correct the paper as a teacher or as a mother? As a mother, she wants to see her son scoring very high. Correct? But as a teacher, she is supposed to be impartial. So which role she should take in that context? The role of a teacher or a role of a mother? Role of a teacher. So decision making should always be in favor of the higher role you play in the society. Right. This is exactly the problem faced by Arjuna also in the battlefield. He analyzed the situation as a family man, not as an army man. Now, which role is bigger? The army role is bigger or the family role is bigger? Army role is bigger. This was what happened. Oh, this is my guru. Oh, this is my near and dear one. Oh, this is my grandfather. They totally confused. You will take only wrong decisions when you are stuck up in the lower role. Intellect will get paralyzed. Arjuna collapses on the chariot. Dharma sammudha chetaha, he says. Karpanya doshopa hatasvabhavaha. Bhagavan, I am not able to bring out any of my abilities and talents now. That's what he says. Right. Suppose there is a person who is the only son for his father and mother, and he is in the army, and there is a war. Should he stay back taking care of his father and mother, or should he go to the border fighting the war? Suppose he says, no, I am the only son, no. Who else will take care of my father and mother if I am gone? So therefore I will stay back. Will it be a right decision? No. So always decision should be taken keeping in mind my higher role. Many times people get, the lower role becomes so important that I forget my higher role. Right. A judge, his own son has come as a criminal. So what should he say? To err is human, to forgive is divine. Then he'll be a devil quoting the scriptures, isn't it? We have all arguments in our scriptures, for and anti, for and against. So it will be wrong. He should be there as a judge, not as a father. Right. So this is the second one, decision making based on the role we play. Point number 3, decision making based on the beneficiary. Who is going to get benefited? So our decision should be always keeping in mind the welfare of the samashti, the totality, not the welfare of the individuality. The question to be asked is not what I am going to get, how the totality is going to get benefited. Totality means samashti. Individual means vyashti. The question should be not what I am going to get, how the totality is going to get benefited. Decision should always be in favor of the welfare of the totality, not the welfare of the individuality. In fact, in the welfare of the totality alone lies the welfare of the individual. It is always like this. Right. You will always find that in this body, when you see, every organ is functioning in its own field, but the functioning is for the welfare of the whole body. You will always find this. This bhava is called yajna bhava in Bhagavad Gita. Yajna bhava, the spirit of sacrifice. May I sacrifice the individual for the welfare of the total. This spirit is called yajna bhava. Yajna means sacrifice. Offering oneself for the welfare of the totality. Decision should be always made keeping this in mind. Welfare of the totality. You see the body? Suppose a stone comes straight into your head. What will the hands do? It will immediately cover, isn't it? So there is a self-sacrifice there. The hands are sacrificing itself to keep the head safe. Why? Because without head we cannot live, without hands we can live. You don't think all this and keep the body is designed that way. Body is designed that way. You see, the lower is sacrificed to protect the higher. Isn't it? In sports also you see this. Every team member should have team spirit. What is team spirit? I am not bothered about my awards and rewards. I should be bothered about the victory of the team. For the team, I must sacrifice myself. This is called as team spirit. I must cooperate with others. I must not let my ego come into its picture and spoil the whole thing. I am not important, team is important. This is called as yajna spirit. So in football, I get an opportunity to score the goal, but there is a goalkeeper in front. But my colleague, my teammate is in a better position to score the goal. What should I do? I should pass the ball. Isn't it? Tomorrow in the newspaper, my name will not be there. My sacrifice also will not be there. His name will be there. Correct? His individual score will improve. But if team is important for me, I should be able to readily do this sacrifice. Many times what happens in the team, in any sport, individual players are excellent, but there is no team spirit. What happens to that team? Individuals are great players, but the team loses. The other team, individuals are not great, but they have this team spirit. Such a team wins. Many times this has happened. So whether it is an organization, whether it is a family, whether it is a nation, whether it is a community, wherever you go, the spirit should be this. What is good for the total, I will do. Not what is good for me. An engineer taking bribe while building the bridge, what is he doing? He only thinks, what will I get? I don't care about the samashti. People, let them suffer. Most important thing is, what am I going to get? So then what happens? Poor quality bridges are built. Poor quality buildings. Every field, that bribe, what you call that all, corruption is nothing but individual is given more importance than the total. So while taking decision, this has to be asked. This question has to be asked. Am I taking decision because I am selfish, or am I taking decision in favor of the totality? Right. So this is decision making, keeping in mind the beneficiary. Who is the one who is going to benefit? Right. How many over? 3. Next one. Decision making based on one's sudharma. Swadharma. Actually, swadharma has no translation in English. Okay. Swadharma means my nature, my inclination. You see these animals, everyone acts based on their swadharma. And therefore they are all comfortable. There is no confusion for them. A monkey is always on the tree because climbing the tree is its swadharma. A bird flies because flying is its swadharma. A deer, it runs on the ground. Running on the ground is its swadharma. A fish is always underwater. Swimming underwater is the swadharma of a fish. An earthworm, it is under the earth, below the mud. Everybody is happy wherever the Lord has placed them. Yes or no? The only person who is unhappy is the so-called intelligent human being. Isn't it? Why is it so? We don't know what our swadharma is. Why we don't know our swadharma? Many times you are influenced by so many other factors. And we have been given a lot of freedom also. Freedom is given, and with this freedom, we make the wrong choice and make our life miserable. Many times we choose our profession based on how much money I can earn. That becomes a factor and we are lost. Or sometimes we look for the majority. Oh, majority of the people are taking this profession, so I will also take. But is it your swadharma? That I don't know. Our decisions are influenced by this majority. Our influence is decision by, the decisions are influenced by so many factors. Sometimes there is peer pressure. This confusion especially happens, that teenager stage, when we don't know which profession we should choose. That's when the whole point comes. Oh, my friends are taking this profession, so therefore I will also take. Oh, at present this particular field has got a lot of demand, so therefore I take this. But have you asked what your sudharma is? There is a natural inclination in you. Always listen to that subtle voice. So how to decide our swadharma? I must know what my inclinations are. What is that towards which I am naturally attracted to? What am I interested in? Even if I am not paid, will I be interested in this subject? Even if difficulties come, will I still continue to be interested in it? Even if I am ignored, no recognition, even then will I take this field. If there is some such field which I love doing, then understand that is my swadharma. You will always find that when you are doing according to your swadharma, there is a sense of fulfillment. This is the proof that you are doing your swadharma. You love doing it. And there is a sense of fulfillment. Yes, I did what I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. This fulfillment is always there. And the spiritual aspect, Bhagavan says, Swadharme nidhanam shreyaha paradharmo bhayavaha. Doing paradharma is very dangerous, Bhagavan says. What is the danger aspect? So in language of Puja Gurudev, when we are doing paradharma, the existing vasanas are not exhausted and new vasanas are created. This is the danger. We have all come to this world for what? To exhaust the vasanas. Correct? So when I do paradharma, what happens? The existing vasanas are not exhausted. Instead, I create new vasanas. Many times parents also force their children to do this, I could not become a doctor in my life. You should fulfill my desire. And the poor son, he has interest in some music or something. You must become a doctor. In our family there is no doctor. And you have got good marks also. Why don't you become a doctor? So that I can tell others, see, my son is a doctor. And this fellow is forced into that profession. Now what happens? Misery, oh misery. The others are studying well. This fellow is not able to study well. He is not enjoying the classes. And finally, even if somehow he passes, what is the profession he will get? Doctor profession. Is he liking it? No. So not only that 5-6 years, I don't know how many years, medical thing. Study, miserable. After becoming a doctor also, misery. Lifelong misery. Right. So while decision making, especially about this profession, etc., first question I should ask is, am I really enjoying it? Is it according to my liking? I may be a wonderful fish, but if that fish is put on the top of a tree, what will it do? Miserable. Excellent monkey, put underwater. Right? So we should know where we belong. Right? So this is decision making based on swadharma. Now the next one, decision making based on the moods of the mind. Very important. What are the three moods of the mind? Tamasic, Rajasic and Sattvic. These are the three moods. 14th chapter in detail discusses this. Tamasic mood is a dull mood. I have no interest in doing anything. There is a tamasic mood, sleepy mood, dull mood, full of laziness. No interest in anything. That is tamasic mood. Rajasic mood, full of agitation, full of action, extrovertedness. Rajas, sattvic mode, peace, tranquility. Sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. So when we take decision, in which mood should we take decision? Always in sattvic mode. Mind is the same, but it has three moods. And you will find that in tamasic mood you take a one decision. In rajasic mood, for the same situation, you take another decision. And when the mind is sattvic mood, you take totally different decision for the same situation. You have to be very, very careful. So important decisions never take when the mind is in rajasic or tamasic mood. Never. Wait. Just wait. Next day, in the prayerful mood, after your meditation, etc., when the mind is peaceful, bring that issue which you are struggling with. In that sattvic mood, whatever the mind says, strictly obey it. Then you will be, throughout your life, you will be safe. Never take decisions in the rajasic mood. Otherwise, what will happen? Act in haste, repent in leisure. I don't know how I spoke those words. I don't know how I did it. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have spoken this way. Regret will be the result. Right? That is why Bhagavan says, Nitya sattvasto bhava. What is our greatest responsibility? Throughout the day, keep the mind in sattva. Nitya sattvasto bhava. Because as long as you are in sattvic state, you are at your best when the mind is in sattva. Your efficiency is at the best, or the highest when your mind is in sattva. So always take decisions when the mind is sattvic. How to ensure that the mind is sattvic? So that is why we have all these spiritual practices. Japa, puja, meditation, study of the scriptures. All these spiritual activities ensure that the mind is always in sattva. All these things the modern generation is not even aware of. You see? In our Gurukulas, etc., the first 5-10 minutes they used to sit and pray before the study starts. What is a modern educational institution doing? First itself they start the teaching. That is not. If you want to cut a tree with the axe, what is the first thing you do? Sharpen it. Isn't it? In every field we do this. Prepare the instrument, then apply the instrument. Right? So see, whatever the prayers we chant in the beginning, why is it? It is for preparing the mind. Mind is the most important instrument in knowledge transaction. A mind which is pure, peaceful, full of faith, devotion, etc. Such a mind absorbs knowledge like a dry sponge absorbing water. So the first step is preparation of the mind, then application of the mind. Isn't it? So decision making, keeping in mind the moods of the mind. Always take decisions when the mind is in sattvic mode. How many over? 5. Next one. Decision making, listening to the voice of conscience. Listening to the voice of conscience. If a particular decision is disturbing your mind, creating a guilt feeling, know for sure that it is a wrong decision. Guilt. If there is a conscience prick, don't do it. If there is a conscience prick, don't do it. Every such guilt feeling, that disturbance, that agitation is an indication that the Lord is not happy with us in that decision. Every disturbance of the mind is an indication from the Lord that somewhere our thought, word or deed is not aligned with the harmony of creation. Pain, disturbance, agitation, it is a sign of disharmony. Peace is a sign of harmony. That's why we are comfortable when we are peaceful. So whenever there is a guilt, there is a conscience prick, understand our decision is wrong. How it is wrong you have to think over, but it is wrong. Right. Silently, every one of us, we are guided by God. Majority of us, we ignore this voice. Very rare few, they listen to this voice and bless their life. Why is it that we tend to ignore this voice? We tend to ignore because all our attention is outside. When your attention is outside, you don't listen what is being told inside. So that is where meditation helps. You're training to look within. And as you keep on looking within, slowly you develop an ability to listen to this voice within. And whose voice is it? The voice of the Lord, your Creator. Every moment our Creator is guiding us along the path of Shreyas, along the path what is good for us, ultimately good for us. Every moment this guidance is there, every moment. It is said the Lord loves each of us as though we are His only child. So how a parent is concerned about his only child, in the same way the Lord is concerned about each and every one of us. And the expression of this concern is constant guidance. Loving guidance. Every moment this guidance is there. You have to go on listening to this guidance and correct ourselves. The mind will again and again take us away from the path of truth. Correct. So now and then we should go into solitude and look within. What is happening inside? So when decisions are taken in line with this voice of conscience, you will never regret in your life. It's a guarantee we can tell you. We should become obedient children of God. And everything is fine. So this is decision making based on this voice of conscience. See, every topic is, you can write volumes on it. Okay. How many hours? 6? Okay. The last one. Decision making when you are totally confused. You don't know what to decide. So at that time what to do? कार्पण्य दोषोपहतः स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वां धर्म सम्मूढचेता Yat shreyasyat nishchitam bruhitan me shishyasteham sadhimam tvam prapannam. This is what Arjuna did. Arjuna did everything opposite of whatever we have discussed. His choice was, he decided based on likes and dislikes and not based on right and wrong. First one. He did not want to fight his near and dear ones. You see? So his decision was based on likes and dislikes. Number two, based on role. He chose to act based on as a family man and not as an army man. See the mistake. Third one, for the welfare of the totality. He totally forgot the welfare of the totality. He is now only seeing his own family. He forgot his dharma, duty, as a kshatriya. See, so he did everything opposite. And finally, of course, mood of the mind also, totally disturbed, agitated, rajasic. Totally disturbed. And now he surrenders unto Bhagavan. Bhagavan, I am totally confused. So this is exactly what we are also supposed to do. When we are totally confused, we don't know what to do. What should we do? Surrender unto Bhagavan. Sarvadharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam praja aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshishyami ma shucha. Surrender to Bhagavan, please guide me. I don't know what to do. I need your guidance. I am your helpless child. Save me. Trahimam, pahimam. I have reached my limits. I can't go further. You have to carry me. And something mysterious will happen. What will happen? I don't know. But something will happen. And suddenly you will find a path. And from within he will inspire. Walk this path. Just listen to it. To that intuitive guidance which comes from within. In that surrender, what happens is the ego completely steps aside from your heart, and once the ego has stepped aside, the Lord takes over. Just like Krishna becomes the chariot and takes the chariot of Arjuna, in the same way Bhagavan becomes your charioteer. And then he inspires from within. Listen to that voice and keep moving ahead. With total faith, total trust in that divine voice. You will be safe. There's a beautiful story I heard. So here was this person climbing the mountain, and it was getting dark, it was getting cold, and he was climbing. He was not seeing anything. And suddenly he slips and he falls. And he is falling from top. He is not seeing anything, but he knows he is falling. And then, as he was falling, there was one branch or something. His shirt gets stuck there. Now he is hanging. Now it is quite cold. He started, "Oh Lord, save me." And then suddenly he hears a voice. "Drop!" Actually, he was hanging. He was holding on to the branch. He was holding on to the branch. So the instruction was, "Leave your hand, drop." He started thinking, "Drop? Somehow I have got this branch. The voice is drop." He kept on holding it. And the next day, what they found was, this fellow was holding and the ground was just 1 foot below. And he was there, frozen to death. Villagers got his body, they are only frozen. The story is beautiful. You have to take a leap of faith. You are not seeing anything. But the voice within is saying, "Go." Just go. So this is the last one. How to take decisions? Surrender unto him. Listen to his guidance. There are so many such miracle stories, so many stories. So, we have exhausted all what you call, all possibilities of decision making. Maybe some more are there, I don't know. These are the things which came to my mind. So even the most helpless situation also, there is a choice. And that's the best choice, ultimate choice, the choice of surrender. Throughout Bhagavad Gita, you will find this surrender emphasized. Right. Of course, there is one more option also. Suppose you say, Swamiji, praying to God and all, mere bas ki baat nahi. Then go to some saintly person, some evolved, mature person. Pour out your problems. And whatever that person says, just do it. This option is also there. And mysteriously, through that divine person, you will be guided. Yes. This option is also there. Right. So I sincerely invoke the grace of the Lord, the blessings of the Guru Parampara. May you take right decisions in life and evolve in spirituality. Jaya Jaya Rama Janaki Rama Raghukula Bhushana Raja Rama Raghukula Jaya Jaya Rama Janaki Rama tapas ranjana taraka nama danava bhanjana kodanda rama Jaya Jaya Rama Janaki Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Janaki Rama Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Shri Rama Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Janaki Rama Shri Raghu Rama Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Shri Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Janaki Rama Janaki Rama Om सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः।